Remember words by reading essays. AIDS and sexual disease prevention.
Today we are going to study the article AIDS and Sexual Disease Prevention. First, I'd like everyone to listen carefully as we go through the whole text once. Please focus on the general meaning and try to understand the main ideas without worrying too much about unfamiliar words.
When a new awareness campaign about AIDS was launched, young people began to pile into the city auditorium to hear the lecture. The organizers knew that the usual brochures were too bloated with statistics to engage the youth, so they avoided anything perverse or unrealistic. Instead, they tried to cajole the public into adopting safer habits with relatable stories. At first, the audience looked glum, some even thinking the campaign was just another decoy for funding. But the doctors warned that unsafe sex carried malign and pernicious consequences. Not only the risk of AIDS, but also other sexually transmitted diseases. They stressed that prevention efforts could pan out only if everyone worked together. To make the event more punchy, they invited a health worker who was a whiz at simplifying medical facts. Instead of delivering stodgy speeches, she presented a cogent set of steps: regular testing, condom use, and avoiding risky partners. She even used slides of sewer sludge to show how untreated infections spread in communities. These vivid images helped to make a serious dent in the audience's resistance. Many realized that healthy choices were salutary and wholesome, not shameful. Still, society continued to grapple with stigma. Owing to ignorance and prejudice, some young people remained waffling, caught between curiosity and fear. One student stood up, his tone melancholy, said that AIDS was always portrayed as contentious in his hometown. Even getting tested, he said, has the feel of a shakedown clinics charge hidden fees. The speaker replied that while some officials might be glib, real prevention required honesty and courage. She closed the session with one clear message: the fight against AIDS is not just medical, it's social. Only through knowledge, respect, and responsibility can we truly protect ourselves and others.
Now, we will listen to the article a second time. As we listen, I will pause from time to time to explain some key vocabulary and important phrases. Please feel free to take notes and pay special attention to how these expressions are used in context.
When a new awareness campaign about AIDS was launched, young people began to pile into the city auditorium to hear the lecture.
Pile into means to enter a place quickly and in large numbers, often in a crowded or slightly disorderly way. In the text, young people piled into the city auditorium, which means they rushed in together in great numbers to attend the lecture.
Does it always mean people are in a hurry?
Not always in a hurry, but it usually suggests movement with energy and crowding.
Can it be used for vehicles too?
Yes. For example, the kids piled into the bus means they got on quickly and all at once.
The organizers knew that the usual brochures were too bloated with statistics to engage the youth.
Bloated means swollen or overly full, and it often has a negative meaning. In the text, the brochures were described as bloated with statistics, meaning they contained too much information and became heavy or difficult to read.
Is it only used for physical things? Like a stomach?
No. It can describe writing, budgets, or organizations that have become unnecessarily large.
So, does it suggest something is inefficient?
Exactly. When something is bloated, it usually implies excess and lack of clarity or effectiveness.
So they avoided anything perverse or unrealistic.
Perverse describes behavior or ideas that go against what is normal, reasonable, or morally acceptable. In the text, the organizers avoided anything perverse or unrealistic, meaning they did not want to include shocking or morally inappropriate content in the campaign.
Does perverse always mean something immoral?
Often it suggests moral wrongness. But it can also mean stubbornly unreasonable.
Can a person be called perverse?
Yes. If someone deliberately acts in an unacceptable or contrary way, we might describe them as perverse.
Instead, they try to cajole the public into adopting safer habits with relatable stories.
Cajole the public into means to gently persuade or coax people to do something, often by using friendly language or encouragement rather than force. In the text, the organizers tried to cajole the public into adopting safer habits, meaning they encouraged people in a warm and convincing way.
Is cajole similar to force?
No. It's much softer. Cajole suggests persuasion through charm or reassurance.
Can it sometimes sound negative?
Yes. It can imply slight manipulation, depending on the context.
At first, the audience looked glum.
Glum means looking sad, disappointed, or lacking enthusiasm. In the text, the audience looked glum at first, which shows they felt discouraged or uninterested about the campaign.
Is glum stronger than sad?
Not necessarily stronger, but it often describes a quiet, gloomy mood.
Can it describe a situation? Or only people?
It usually describes people or their expressions, like a glum face or a glum expression.
Some even thinking the campaign was just another decoy for funding.
Decoy refers to something used to trick or mislead people. In the text, some students thought the campaign was just another decoy for funding, meaning they suspected it was only a cover to get money rather than a genuine health effort.
Is a decoy always something fake?
Yes. It's usually something designed to distract attention from the real purpose.
Can it be used as a verb?
Good question. Yes. To decoy means to lure or trap someone by deception.
But the doctors warned that unsafe sex carried malign and pernicious consequences.
Malign and pernicious both describe something very harmful. Malign often suggests something dangerous or evil in nature, while pernicious emphasizes harm that is gradual and damaging over time. In the text, unsafe sex carries malign and pernicious consequences, meaning the effects can be seriously harmful and long-lasting.
Is malign only used in medical contexts? Like cancer?
It's common in medicine, such as malignant tumor, but it can also describe harmful intentions or influences.
How is pernicious different from just harmful?
Pernicious suggests hidden or slow damage that becomes serious over time, not just immediate harm.
Not only the risk of AIDS, but also other sexually transmitted diseases. They stress that prevention efforts could pan out only if everyone worked together.
Pan out means to develop or turn out in a particular way, especially after some time. In the text, prevention efforts could pan out only if everyone worked together, meaning the efforts would succeed or produce good results under that condition.
Is it usually about success?
Often, yes. But it can also describe failure, like the plan didn't pan out.
Is it informal?
It's slightly informal, but very common in everyday English.
To make the event more punchy.
Punchy means lively, forceful, and effective in a strong, direct way. In the text, the organizers wanted to make the event more punchy, which means they aim to make it more energetic and impactful so the audience would stay engaged.
Does punchy mean aggressive?
Not necessarily aggressive, but it does suggest strong impact and energy.
Can writing be punchy?
Absolutely. Short, powerful sentences are often described as punchy.
They invited a health worker who was a whiz at simplifying medical facts.
Whiz means someone who is extremely skilled or talented at something. In the text, the health worker was a whiz at simplifying medical facts, meaning she was very good and quick at explaining complicated information clearly.
Can whiz be used for sports or music?
Yes. You can say someone is a whiz at playing piano or scoring goals.
Is it formal or informal?
It's informal, often used in everyday conversation to praise skill.
Instead of delivering stodgy speeches.
Stodgy means dull, heavy, and not interesting. In the text, the speaker avoided giving stodgy speeches, which means she did not want her talk to sound boring or overly serious in a lifeless way.
Is stodgy only used for speeches?
No. It can also describe food, writing, or even people who seem old-fashioned and unexciting.
Is it a strong negative word?
It's mildly negative. It suggests something lacks energy or freshness.
She presented a cogent set of steps: regular testing, condom use, and avoiding risky partners.
Cogent means clear, logical, and convincing. In the text, the health worker presented a cogent set of steps, which means her advice was well organized and made strong sense to the audience.
Is cogent the same as clear?
It includes clarity, but it also emphasizes strong reasoning.
Can we describe an argument as cogent?
Yes. A well-supported and persuasive argument is cogent.
She even used slides of sewer sludge to show how untreated infections spread in communities.
Sludge refers to thick, wet, dirty mud or waste, especially from sewage or industrial processes. In the text, slides of sewer sludge were used to show how untreated infections can spread, creating a strong and unpleasant image to make the message more powerful.
Is sludge always related to sewage?
Often. Yes. It usually describes dirty waste material, especially from drains or factories.
Can it be used metaphorically?
Yes. Sometimes it describes anything thick and unpleasant, even in a figurative sense.
These vivid images help to make a serious dent in the audience's resistance.
Make a serious dent means to cause a noticeable reduction or strong impact on something. In the text, the vivid images made a serious dent in the audience's resistance, meaning they significantly reduced people's doubts and opposition.
Does dent literally mean damage?
Literally. Yes, it's a small hollow in metal. But figuratively, it means reducing something.
Can we use it for money?
Yes. For example, the repair bill made a dent in my savings, meaning it reduced them noticeably.
Many realized that healthy choices were salutary and wholesome, not shameful.
Salutary and wholesome both describe something beneficial and good for you. Salutary emphasizes positive effects, especially on health or behavior, while wholesome suggests something morally good, healthy, and pure. In the text, healthy choices were described as salutary and wholesome, meaning they were beneficial and morally positive.
Is salutary mainly about health?
Often, yes. But it can also refer to beneficial social or moral effects.
Can food be wholesome?
Absolutely. Wholesome food is natural, healthy, and good for your body.
Still, society continued to grapple with stigma.
Grapple with means to struggle to deal with a difficult problem or situation. In the text, society continued to grapple with stigma, meaning people were still trying hard to confront and solve the problem of prejudice and misunderstanding.
Does it mean a physical fight?
Originally, yes, it referred to wrestling. But now it's mostly used metaphorically.
Can we grapple with emotions?
Certainly.
You can grapple with fear,
Doubt.
or any challenging issue.
Owing to ignorance and prejudice, some young people remained waffling, caught between curiosity and fear.
Waffling means being unable to make a clear decision or constantly changing one's opinion. In the text, some young people remained waffling, which means they were hesitating and unsure, caught between curiosity and fear.
Is it the same as lying?
No.
It's not about dishonesty. It's about indecision or uncertainty.
Can we use it in daily conversation?
Yes. For example, stop waffling and choose one option, meaning stop hesitating and decide.
One student stood up, his tone melancholy, said,
Melancholy describes a deep, quiet sadness that lasts for some time. In the text, the student's tone was melancholy, meaning he spoke in a sorrowful and reflective way.
Is it stronger than just sad?
Yes. It often suggests a more thoughtful and lasting sadness.
Can it describe music or weather?
Absolutely. We can say a song or a rainy day feels melancholy if it creates a sad mood.
that AIDS was always portrayed as contentious in his hometown.
Contentious means causing disagreement or argument. In the text, AIDS was portrayed as contentious in his hometown, meaning it was a topic that people often argued about or felt uncomfortable discussing.
Does it always involve anger?
Not always anger, but it usually involves strong differences of opinion.
Can a person be contentious?
Yes. A contentious person often likes to argue or challenge others' views.
Even getting tested, he said, has the feel of a shakedown clinic's charge hidden fees.
Has the feel of a shakedown means something seems like an unfair demand for money or a trick to get payment. In the text, getting tested has the feel of a shakedown, meaning the student felt the clinics were charging hidden or unnecessary fees.
Is a shakedown always about money?
Usually. Yes, it refers to extortion or unfair financial demands.
Can it be used figuratively?
Definitely. Anything that feels unfair or exploitative can be described as a shakedown.
The speaker replied that while some officials might be glib, real prevention required honesty and courage.
Glib describes someone who speaks smoothly and confidently but without much thought or sincerity. In the text, some officials might be glib, meaning they may sound persuasive but not truly care about the issue.
Is being glib always negative?
Usually, yes, because it suggests a lack of seriousness or depth.
Can a speech be glib?
Yes. A glib speech sounds fluent, but may lack real meaning or responsibility.
She closed the session with one clear message. The fight against AIDS is not just medical, it's social. Only through knowledge, respect, and responsibility can we truly protect ourselves and others.
Next, let's listen to the entire article one more time. This time, try to connect the vocabulary and phrases we have discussed with the overall message of the text, and see how your understanding has improved.
When a new awareness campaign about AIDS was launched, young people began to pile into the city auditorium to hear the lecture. The organizers knew that the usual brochures were too bloated with statistics to engage the youth, so they avoided anything perverse or unrealistic. Instead, they tried to cajole the public into adopting safer habits with relatable stories. At first, the audience looked glum, some even thinking the campaign was just another decoy for funding. But the doctors warned that unsafe sex carried malign and pernicious consequences. Not only the risk of AIDS, but also other sexually transmitted diseases. They stressed that prevention efforts could pan out only if everyone worked together. To make the event more punchy, they invited a health worker who was a whiz at simplifying medical facts. Instead of delivering stodgy speeches, she presented a cogent set of steps: regular testing, condom use, and avoiding risky partners. She even used slides of sewer sludge to show how untreated infections spread in communities. These vivid images helped to make a serious dent in the audience's resistance. Many realized that healthy choices were salutary and wholesome, not shameful. Still, society continued to grapple with stigma. Owing to ignorance and prejudice, some young people remained waffling, caught between curiosity and fear. One student stood up, his tone melancholy, said that AIDS was always portrayed as contentious in his hometown. Even getting tested, he said, has the feel of a shakedown clinic's charge hidden fees. The speaker replied that while some officials might be glib, real prevention required honesty and courage. She closed the session with one clear message. The fight against AIDS is not just medical, it's social. Only through knowledge, respect, and responsibility can we truly protect ourselves and others.
That brings us to the end of today's lesson. Thank you for your attention and participation. I hope this class has helped you better understand both the language and the important topic discussed in the article.
See you next time.